there, I'm Che Blackmon, and let me tell you something that might sting a little. Most HR strategies aren't actually strategic. They're reactive band-aids on systemic wounds. And if you're wondering why your culture initiatives keep falling flat, we need to talk. Here's what usually happens. A company invests thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands, into employee engagement surveys, DEI programs, leadership workshops. Everyone nods enthusiastically in the meetings. The slides look beautiful. And 6 months later, same turnover problems, same disconnect between leadership and teams, same conversations about culture fit that somehow always seem to exclude certain people. Sound familiar? Look, after 25 plus years in HR leadership and now building Che Blackmon Consulting while pursuing my doctorate in organizational leadership, I've seen this pattern repeat itself more times than I can count. And honestly, I'm over it. So let me introduce myself properly. I'm a fractional HR executive, which means I bring C-suite level HR expertise to growing companies without the full-time executive price tag. But here's what makes my approach different. I'm not just pulling strategies from a corporate playbook that was written decades ago. Right now, I'm deep in doctoral research at National University, studying how predictive analytics can actually quantify culture change, ROI. Translation: I'm learning how to prove that culture transformation isn't just some soft skill, feel-good initiative. It's a business metric that can be measured, predicted, and optimized. My mission at CBC is pretty straightforward: empower overlooked talent and transform organizational cultures through strategic HR leadership. Because here's the truth. Culture isn't about ping pong tables and pizza parties. It's about creating sustainable pathways for authentic growth and breakthrough performance. And yes, I see the irony of talking about overlooked talent when that's exactly what happened to me last year when I got laid off. But plot twist, that disruption became the catalyst for building something that actually addresses the problems I've been watching companies struggle with for decades. Let's talk about what's really broken in most organizations right now. Companies are hemorrhaging talent and wondering why their exit interviews all sound the same. There's this scramble to implement AI tools without understanding the cultural foundation needed to make them work. Leadership development programs that somehow only develop people who already look like leadership, and everyone's talking about culture transformation while using the same tired approaches that haven't worked for the last 20 years. There was a company, mid-sized, growing fast, that kept losing their highest performers within 18 months of hiring them. They kept blaming poor culture fit and unrealistic expectations. But when you actually looked at the data, they had a pattern of hiring diverse talent and then systematically excluding them from the informal networks where real decisions were made. Their turnover wasn't a culture fit problem, it was a culture problem, period. And that's what I'm seeing everywhere. Organizations treating symptoms instead of diagnosing the actual disease. So here's how Che Blackmon Consulting actually solves this. Fractional HR leadership is my core offering. You get strategic, C-suite level HR expertise tailored to growing companies, typically those with 20 to 200 employees who need sophisticated HR infrastructure but aren't ready for a full-time CHRO. I come in, assess what's actually happening in your organization, not what people say is happening, and build systems that work. We're talking HR strategy that aligns with your business goals, compliance frameworks that actually protect you, and talent development that creates measurable ROI. But here's where it gets interesting. I'm not just another HR consultant recycling the same frameworks everyone else uses. My doctoral research is focused on predictive analytics for culture transformation. I'm literally studying how to identify cultural misalignments before they drive your best people out the door. Imagine knowing which leadership behaviors are creating turnover risks 6 months before people start interviewing elsewhere. That's where we're headed. My culture transformation work goes beyond surface level initiatives. We're examining your operating principles, your actual values versus your stated values, and the systemic barriers that keep talented people from advancing. This isn't about making everyone feel comfortable. It's about creating environments where excellence can actually emerge from places you weren't looking before. The leadership development programs I design, they're not just for C-suite executives. Because here's something fascinating from organizational behavior research. The biggest impact on employee experience comes from frontline supervisors, not executives. Yet most companies spend all their development budget on senior leaders who are already well supported. My approach builds leadership capability at every level, using frameworks grounded in both academic theory and real-world application. And for organizations ready to leverage technology strategically, I'm developing an AI-driven talent strategy approach. This combines behavioral science with predictive analytics to surface high performers who might be overlooked by traditional metrics. Think bias-free talent identification, AI-driven upskilling programs, and real-time feedback systems that actually work. Oh, and I've written 3 books on leadership and culture because apparently I had thoughts that needed sharing. Here's something I call the double-bind advantage, and it's one of my proprietary frameworks. Traditional HR sees talent through a single lens, whatever lens the current leadership already has. But there's hidden potential in your organization that you're completely missing because your systems weren't designed to find it. The double bind advantage helps organizations identify and develop overlooked talent by removing the biases built into your existing processes. Every assignment I take, every model I build for a client, it's also informing my dissertation research. And every theory I study in my doctorate, I'm stress testing it in real organizational environments. That's the synergy between my academic work and my consulting practice. You're not getting untested theories or strategies I learned in some workshop. You're getting approaches that are validated by both rigorous research and practical application. Now let's talk about resilience, because this matters if you're a professional woman, especially a Black woman navigating corporate America. I created something called the Shield Resilience Strategy, and it's specifically designed for women facing unique challenges in professional environments. SHIELD stands for self-awareness, healthy coping, internal resources, external support, learning orientation, and daily practices. This isn't about developing a thicker skin or leaning in harder. It's about strategic resilience, the ability to transform challenges into stepping stones while protecting your authenticity, energy, and well-being. Because you can't pour from an empty cup, and you certainly can't transform cultures if you're burnt out trying to survive them. The full guide walks you through each component with practical exercises, boundary scripts for common situations, and recovery protocols when resilience is tested. And yes, you can download it free. I'll drop the link in the description. My operating principles are pretty clear. I lead with empathy and cultural awareness. I measure success through tangible transformation and sustainable growth. I customize solutions because your organization's culture and challenges are unique. I maintain the highest standards of professional ethics, and I build long-term partnerships focused on continuous improvement, not quick fixes. So who should work with CBC? You might be a CEO or business owner of a growing company who recognizes that people are your competitive advantage, and you're ready to invest in strategic HR infrastructure. Maybe you're an HR leader who's tired of being seen as the compliance police, and you want to position HR as the strategic powerhouse it should be. Or you're a professional woman navigating corporate challenges and looking for frameworks that actually acknowledge the specific barriers you face. The common thread? You're done with surface-level solutions. You want transformation backed by both evidence and experience. You understand that culture isn't soft. It's the foundation everything else is built on. And if you're wondering whether fractional HR is right for your organization, ask yourself, Are we growing fast enough that HR chaos is starting to create real business problems? Do we need sophisticated HR strategy but can't justify a full-time executive salary? Could we benefit from someone who's seen these problems across multiple industries and knows what actually works? If you're nodding, we should talk. Based on my 25 years of experience, that would have been enough. But I chose to pursue doctoral research in organizational leadership because I'm not interested in recycling conventional wisdom. I want to fundamentally change how organizations think about culture, talent, and transformation. My dissertation focused on using predictive analytics to quantify culture change ROI. That's going to revolutionize how companies approach culture initiatives. Instead of hoping engagement surveys translate to retention, we'll be able to identify specific interventions that move specific metrics. Instead of reactive exit interviews, we'll have proactive data showing where cultural misalignments are creating turnover risk. Every course I take becomes intellectual property for my business while maintaining academic rigor. Organizational behavior theories inform my AI model frameworks. Research methods strengthen my platform's validity, and my clients benefit from approaches that are validated by doctoral level research, not just industry trends. All right, here's what I want you to do right now. First, download the Shield Resilience Strategy Guide. It's completely free, and honestly, even if you never work with CBC, this framework will change how you navigate professional challenges. The link is right there in the description. Get it, use it, share it with other women who need it. Second, if you're thinking, my organization needs this kind of strategic HR support, book a discovery call. Let's talk about what's actually happening in your company, where the gaps are, and whether fractional HR leadership makes sense for you. No pressure, no sales pitch, just strategic conversation about your people challenges. Third, subscribe to this channel because I'm going to be sharing insights from both my consulting work and my doctoral research. This is where HR strategy meets academic rigor meets real talk about what actually works. Look, here's my final thought for you. Culture transformation isn't about making everyone comfortable. It's about creating environments where excellence can emerge from unexpected places. It's about building systems that work for everyone, not just people who already fit the existing mold. And it's about finally treating people's strategy as the competitive advantage it actually is. You can keep throwing money at engagement surveys and exit interviews, hoping something changes. Or you can work with someone who's combining 25 years of HR leadership experience with doctoral level research to build frameworks that actually transform organizations. Your call. I'm Che Blackmon. This is how we unlock, empower, and transform. Drop a comment telling me your biggest HR or culture challenge right now. I read every single one, and who knows, your question might become my next video.